Welcome to Quick Chat. This is a vodcast slash podcast centered around gaming and eSports, specifically for people who are more casual. With the events of COVID coming down, I know a lot of people have moved into streaming and gaming, and so I would like to introduce you guys to bits of our culture and show you why we're so proud of this. My name is Tyler Hensley, aka Akin. I got my co-host with me. You want to introduce yourself, bud?
What's going on, guys? So my name is Austin Shuti, aka Doljamar. Kind of chilling out here.
Rock and roll. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick background on who we are, really, and then we'll move right into the topics for today's podcast. I am a casually competitive gamer. That meaning that I like to play games competitively. I like to try to grind ladder ranks and stuff like that, and you'll learn more about what that means as we go on. But I also fully understand that I'm a casual, no skill. Austin, you wanna hit him?
And honestly, that's probably where I'm sitting too. I guess I have a little bit more experience in the actual professional scene, but even then, only barely. With a little bit of Team Fortress 2 that I played competitively.
Right.
Really, there's not much more to it. You kind of nailed everything I would have said anyway.
Excellent. Well, then we're off to a good start. So we got a whole host of topics here, and this is kind of off the rip. Generally, every day we're all going to come with a couple different topics. We will be joined later in the week by another one of our good friends, also named Tyler. It's very convenient.
Or inconvenient.
Or inconvenient. Yeah, whichever you want to say. I do a lot of streaming. I'm really getting into streaming on YouTube. Oz has done it in the past. I think you were planning on getting back into it, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm definitely jumping back in once I figure out when a good time is.
Yeah, absolutely. So be expecting this to be on YouTube, but also to be streamed live on Twitch so we can get questions from chat and stuff like that. So I've got a whole host of topics here. I want to start with an introduction to kind of esports and something pretty easy to understand. So I want to talk about Rocket League, if that's good with you.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's go.
All right. So, what is Rocket League? Rocket League is balls hit car. You got that backwards. Cars hit a ball. It's soccer with cars that go in the air. This is actually a really cool esport in my opinion. It's one of the most intuitive esports. To kind of understand what's happening on the field doesn't take a genius. If you played any kind of sport, you know whoever has more points is winning. But yeah, so with that being said, the esports community behind this is absolutely huge and it keeps getting bigger by the day. There are regional championships and world championships. We have not had a world championship in a minute, only because COVID, man. We can't get everybody in the same place, and I would rather just have a bunch of regionals than have a bunch of people, getting COVID. So I don't. Yeah, you probably feel the same about that.
Definitely, I would much rather see smaller championships than a big one that gets people hurt.
Absolutely. So RLCS I'm doing that in quotations, chat, is basically, you can think of it like any other regionals for a sporting event. So if you played ball in high school or college, you know what regionals are. If you follow sports, you know what world championships are. So, your World Cups and your whatever basketball international tournaments probably exist somewhere. So
And if you do, think of the Super Bowl. It's
yes,
like a big
yes,
championship.
yes. We
Everybody knows what that is.
Yeah, and like you guys, this Rocket League stuff, it really is on par with that. I mean, it's actually broadcast on ESPN, so it's one of the few esports that can say that. Mainly because like it's super easy to broadcast. It's rated E for everyone. There's no hurting people. It's just good old fashioned sports.
And it's crazy easy to follow too. Like you said,
Crazy
earlier, you
easy,
don't
yeah.
have to even play the game to know what's going on.
Yeah,
Like, you
exactly.
might watch somebody do some crazy plays and be like, "Whoa, what was that?" But you're not gonna be able to be like, "I didn't understand what you did."
No, right, exactly. Like you may hear like the casters or somebody say something that's completely irrelevant to you, but then again, if you don't follow that sport, it's all the same thing. You don't know what icing is in hockey. For example, I don't even know what icing is in hockey. I just know that it's a thing. I also know that flow in hockey, if you didn't know, flow is actually what they used to call a player's hair. So if he has good flow, he has a big head of hair. So yeah, completely irrelevant, but in the topic with welcome to whatever this is. So RLCS has begun, as it were. This is a little bit different. In the past, it has only been North America and EU as regions that compete for the title. But now it is moved into trying to get other nations or areas to have their own teams, which is very hard because you got to understand that it's a lot tighter demographic, a lot smaller there. They may not have 20 teams that can do a full series, so your South America guys kind of get like left hanging. Your Saudi Arabia guys would have to play in the EU league where they get way higher latency because they are way further away from everybody. So we had the NA RLCS, and that was really cool. There's a couple of things that I want to talk about, but I'm actually saving them for chats later in this week. But we will talk about the EU one, which just happened this weekend. As of recording this is going to be Monday's video for y'all. We're recording this on a Sunday night. Team Queso is your winner, and they took regionals this time around.
Oh, okay.
But let me tell you what's weird about that. The North American scene in Rocket League, so welcome all you new gamers and maybe casual Rocket League players. For a long time, long ago, EU was known as the most volatile region. It was constantly cutthroat, back and forth, like this team would win, then this team would win. You always had a consistent top 6 teams that were like guaranteed to be up there in the top 6, but who knows who was going to win it. And North America was always, you had top 3. You had the big 3. And they were always around and they were always doing stuff. But now it's kind of been a role reversal as of late. So the North American scene has been super volatile with a bunch of unexpected winners.
Great. We'd love to see new faces pop up.
Absolutely, right? That's just more people in the scene, more room for new organizations, because if you only have these 6 teams that are always winning, then new orgs are way less likely to join. So you get a lot of people coming in like... here's a great example from the North American side. There's a team called the Peeps. They had mad potential forever. Everybody always used to have a saying called "Don't sleep on the Peeps." We used to type that in the Twitch chat while it was live. And also hashtag pick up the Peeps, because we know that these 3 players comprise a very, very dangerous roster, and we want to see them in competitive play. We're all about just seeing more Rocket League, man. Because of how well they started doing and because of the volatility in the NA scene, a big organization decided, hey, maybe it's time that we break into this and get a piece of this pie as well. And so it was super hype announcement, but FaZe Clan came to Rocket League. And so I was immediately thrown back to my Call of Duty days. That was wild. It was wild, but I'm so glad to see it. I'm so happy that the money's there, that the orgs are there. They have a deal they just did with Ford. Did a huge event around that, gave away a Ford F-150 to the winner of the competition.
That winning shot, by the way, was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Who was it? What was his name? Real? Real or something like that?
Shoot. I don't remember. All I remember is the shot was like a quadruple flip reset. It was just nutty.
You can pull it up. The dogs are going crazy in the background because my roommate just got home. So, anyways, pay no mind to that. While he looks that up, I'll let you know. The European region has had a team that has consistently won every event as of late. So think of any like qualifying event or what we would call the grid, which is basically like preseason for you sports people, for you super sports people. This team won everything to the point in the preseason that when they were coming up on the next iteration to get as many points as they could the next week of league play, they could have not played and still guaranteed a seat in the upper bracket. So it's basically the point there is that they are super duper consistent, and they've had very little opposition. They came out this weekend and got absolutely smacked around by two random teams that nobody had money on, and then one of them went on to take the whole championship, and that was Team Queso. And if I'm not mistaken, they went to Game 7, so it was as far as you can go in the match. So yeah, man, those dudes put in time. I'm pretty sure that they had won 2, and then the match Game 3 went to overtime, and they won it, and then they lost 3 in a row. Or they won Game 2, and then they lost 3 in a row. Then they called a timeout. And this is a brand new rule that's been implemented into Rocket League, which I'm very excited about, because you have to understand, people playing at the highest level for 50 minutes at a time, sometimes more, you can have an overtime, and an overtime is unlimited, man. We just hit it was G2, wasn't it? The world record for NA overtime?
It might have been. I honestly don't remember.
Whoever it was, they played a 15-minute overtime on top of a 5-minute match, and that was like the first game.
And it's funny because it doesn't sound like very much, but these games are really fast and intense.
Yeah, I mean, well, when you think about the fact that your game is only 5 minutes long to begin with, each match is only 5 minutes long, then you kind of understand that they just played 4 matches going into a best of 7. To kick off the best of 7, they played 4 matches. It's great. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Absolutely wild. Also, I got the name of the winner of that freestyle tournament. It was Pulse's very own Mesco.
Oh, it was Mesco, wasn't it?
Yes,
yes, man.
Crazy player.
Yeah, that's so we talked a little bit just now about organizations, and I'm going to be really excited to talk to some of these casual people a little bit more in depth about what organizations do for the sports, why it's so crucial to have them. If maybe that wasn't apparent, maybe you're not business minded. That's not what your focus has been on. So this is kind of a new thing for you. We'll be getting into that, and that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, so Pulse is like a independent organization of just people who like to play the game, not to win, but to score the coolest shot in the lobby. So all they want to do is score a goal that nobody's ever scored. And that was kind of the importance of this competition with Ford, was to bring light to that. So
think of those guys in like Call of Duty games that run around trying to 360 no scope you all.
Yes.
It's like that, but way more intense.
So much more intense, because it's not a hope and a prayer.
Yeah, it's
a calculation. It's a mathematical equation. Like
calculated movements, complete precise movements of your boost and your
just some of the most core understanding of like fundamentally how the physics of the game work. Yeah, it's very cool. So yeah, just wanted to give a shout out to them. On the topic of Rocket League, we did have an announcement that just came through. Formula 1 and NASCAR are coming. So if you like racing games and you're from NA, you've probably watched NASCAR a time or two. Maybe you're like me, your step pops and all them, they watch NASCAR or whatever. I'm not really into it. It's not really my scene, but hey, man, any more viewership, any more light on this game that we can get is honestly good, in my opinion. Sure. We already have a super toxic community, so it doesn't matter.
Just come in, mute chat. Want to save? I mean, no, don't do that.
Just want to save your teammate every time. But yeah, and then F1, that's kind of cool as well. For all of you EU fans and all of you Formula 1 fans, there's a big announcement around that. And then Rocket League coming to mobile, that's still in the works. It's a ways off. When we get some more information, we will be talking about it. I think
it looks really good though so far.
It does look pretty cool. It looks like I'll have it on my phone at work for my lunch breaks.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Instead of being a whole 3D environment, it's just a 2D environment. So
yeah, I saw that, and I saw that the goal placement was different and stuff like that, which is more we can break down when we get better
for
images
sure.
of
We
it.
actually have the ability to play the game.
Yeah, exactly, and really talk about it. Right now, it's like in beta. But then I want to give one more shout out while we're still on the subject of Rocket League. Sorry, I was pulling up some of my stuff here on my screen. Collegiate Rocket League, CRL. You can follow these guys at Twitch TV. I believe I don't have it written down here, but I'm pretty sure it's College Carball. I follow them. There's a couple really good guys on there. Collegiate Rocket League. That's really cool for me. That's your colleges, and to me that kind of signifies this cementing itself more as a sport than anything. Because it's cool to have like your big tournaments, your Fortnite tournament where people win $1 million or whatever. But the fact that you're actually seeing like LSU and UT Arlington getting involved and trying to get give their players and their gamers another platform, that's really cool to me.
You were absolutely right, by the way. It is College Carball Association.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love them, dude. They're great. There's a guy on there who is big in the scene. His name's T Bates. He runs a podcast with Dazarin and Roldiz, a caster and a former pro. Former pro turned coach turned pro again. Big credits to them, man. They took down one of the biggest teams in NA. With their coach on their team instead of their actual player who just like retired spontaneously. So shout out CRL. Week 0 just begun. So you guys, I think there's 7 weeks in their season. So if that sounds cool, if that sounds interesting, go give them a check out, man. It'd be great. So I've got a couple different topics here. So you know about Risk of Rain. You introduced me to Risk of Rain.
Yes, sir.
So that has recently, just over the couple days, seen a really big surge in players on both Twitch and viewers on Twitch and people on Steam playing the game. Apparently due to a anniversary, due to the game's anniversary.
Yeah, and a big update with a new character coming out. I'll be honest, I haven't looked at the new character yet, but I'll tell you that if this helps their numbers even more, that's fantastic, because straight up, their first game was great, but it was a tiny indie game. They didn't have any money for any kind of advertising or anything to that effect. So it was just essentially whoever happened to stumble upon the game originally. But they made enough money from that, obviously, to make the second game, and they went all out. Instead of being a 2D platforming, monster hunter kind of thing, it's now fully fleshed out 3D, of course. But what really blows my mind is the core mechanics are all still right there. The gameplay feels the same; it just feels updated.
So how would you classify the games for people who are like, I've never heard of this Risk of Rain business?
So
it's isometric, right? I played it with you. It's isometric. So
the 3D one or the original?
Or yeah, I guess the 3D. It's back away from your player perspective. You're not first person.
Third person camera, roguelike.
Right.
Different abilities.
Right. And so again for casual people who are getting into this, a roguelike game is generally where there's a generation of the level, like the level gets generated, but it's not the same every time. Whether that be like the exact terrain or the exact monsters that are there, the exact loot that you can get, it's very randomized.
Roguelike as a genre has kind of just expanded to mean a lot more than it originally meant.
Sure, like Metroidvania.
Yeah, sure. Like originally it was intended to be games that were like Rogue, way
Right.
Way back
Yep, your Diablo 1 Rogue character.
No. We're talking like actual just Rogue. I forget when it came out.
Oh! Wait, was that a mud?
Hold on. Let me look up the actual when it released. 1980.
Yeah.
Made by Michael Toy and Glenn Wichman.
Excellent. We should talk about that on Retro Thursday for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like
that'd be cool.
that was the game that started it all, and tons of games have copied a lot of the things from that. Whether it's randomized layouts for your maps or your environments, or your randomized equipment from starting items to whatever you find in every room afterwards, all the encounters, everything is usually fairly randomized. Um, and that's kind of where that whole idea of where that genre even came from, which not a lot of people realize.
So as a casual roguelitist, I'm not a rogue elitist. Okay,
Sure.
a very casual rogue.
So,
What is the appeal in playing these roguelike and randomly generated games that like you just it's like a surprise, you just never know if you're gonna get that perfect build and just, see the craziest things you've ever seen. Yeah.
so the idea is generally in any game you play, especially single player games, there's usually like the right way, the wrong way, and a bunch of other ways to do something.
Yep. Yep.
And what roguelikes give you the opportunity to do is instead of going into the game knowing, okay, cool, here's where all the best stuff is, let me rush to it really quickly and clear out everything and then be a god immediately, it's more like, okay, cool, here's what you got. You got a random set of stuff that you would never have picked up on your own. You got to figure out how to make it work. You got to use your environment and your knowledge of the game and everything else around it to your advantage. And that, I think, is where the fun in those games comes from. It's the fact that they are endlessly replayable.
Yeah, I mean literally endlessly replayable. Like, I don't have the attention span to even get good at games like that, but like, yeah, absolutely.
There's
That's
so many too that are just so good.
so many. So so let's go to a topic I got brought up right here. This is a game that probably everybody and their mama knows. My mom knows this game. My mom hates this game. My mom bought one of these games for me when I was a child, and then walked in and was like, "Oh Lord, have mercy, what have I done?" Grand Theft Auto. Um,
Oh, okay.
didn't know where I was going with that, did you?
I wasn't sure. At first, that was Pokemon, and I was like, no,
Pokemon?
not after what you said.
No,
Not after what you said.
no. I think I only ever owned one Pokemon game, and it was for the Game Boy. But so Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 has been around for a while. I'm sure there's quite a few of you that have like played it on your friend's Xbox or heard your little cousin talking about it or something like that. Um, but I want to talk about something really cool that the Grand Theft Auto community has done. And you might be thinking like, well, what have they done other than like, steal cars and beat up people on the street? Well, they have released a couple years ago now, but they continuously update it and continuously try to make the platform better and make the code better. They released something called 5M. And 5M is a collection of modified Grand Theft Auto 5 servers. So you go into this database of servers, you click on one, you open it up, and most of them have very strict rules. Some of them, quite a few of them, are heavily, heavily involved in roleplay. So you go in there, you create a character, and you stay to that character. One of them is called No Pixel, and it is probably the biggest one that's popping right now with the longest whitelist. It's probably the most well done, most fleshed out server, and it really is like life in GTA. So it's a little quicker. You don't have to wait 30 years to get somewhere and get some work done. But
You could if you wanted.
you could if you wanted. I mean, that would really suck, man. If you were a trash driver for 30 years, hey man, I know people have done it. I'm just saying, like, if you have the opportunity to like, steal $1 million car and just sell that, I'd go for that first.
Yeah, probably.
We don't condone that here on Quick Chat. So GTA went kind of down in popularity because again, it's an older game. It's been around for quite some time. But then a huge resurgence pops up. 16% increase in viewers on Twitch in the last 7 days alone. Which and coming off that, it's been a steady kind of increase incrementally from January when they released this next update, next version, if you will, of NoPixel. Some of the biggest names in streaming are getting on it. It's super cool. I just really want to shout them out and say, like, you take one look at this and you realize how much work these people put into this, because they took a whole game and then picked apart its code and then put it back together in a way that it's nigh unrecognizable. Like you look at it and be like, yeah, of course it looks like Grand Theft Auto, and then like you start menuing and seeing all the different possibilities and start like using your phone to call other players in the world, and it's just so incredibly hard and so my uncle has done a lot of coding in his life, and I've watched him try to make a video game and stuff like that, and man, it's no joke. That is tedious and that is hard. So shout out to you guys. I'm really glad that they're getting some respect. As far as that
Very
goes.
cool project. I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you think about it?
I just really like that idea. It's like, hey, here's the world, and you can just be you or somebody else,
Or not, right? And I think that's one of the biggest things. It's one of the biggest incentives around most role-playing style games or like MMORPGs or whatever is just that simple fact that you can just not be you.
That's why you play video games.
Yeah.
To escape, right?
Exactly. I think that oftentimes they're I would say pre-COVID, and maybe like a decade back, games were really perceived by the masses as like childish or immature.
They still are, to be fair.
Well, here's the thing. I want to make an important distinction. I feel like there's a huge difference between something being immature and something being childish. And I've talked about this before, but I feel like immaturity is just like doing dumb stuff for attention for no reason because you're not thinking ahead. Whereas childishness is like being imaginative and creative and not being hindered by whatever is around you. Like say it's a pile of boxes, but it's a fort to you.
Yeah.
Right. So along with that, because guys, drama and sex sell. I'm telling you, this is facts. We can look at the metrics. Let's get into our first bit of controversy, and I do think that we have another bit of controversy coming from the one of the only Doldrum later tonight, if I'm not mistaken. There's a semi-popular, unpopular streamer. Love him or hate him, he exists. His name is XQC. He was banned on NoPixel. He was banned on NoPixel for glitching. He was glitching. And combat logging, which I have no idea what the hell combat logging actually means. I'm assuming he's breaking the rules. They don't like it when you randomly kill people in this game. Like, that's not cool. That's not what the game's about. So, like, if you're just randomly shooting people for the heck of it because, why not, then you're definitely going to get banned from the server. They don't tolerate it.
Oh, hey, I just found the answer in case anybody's curious and hasn't already gone to Google to figure out what combat logging is.
Sure, hit us.
It's just logging out or closing the game when you get into combat.
Right, yep.
Which makes sense, very self-explanatory, but if I couldn't figure it out, I'm sure.
But certainly, I mean, like if you engage in a firefighter, you engage in combat, and then you just like bail, then like you've just done the other person dirty, like
for real.
And you're trying to role play like it's real life, so you can't just log out of real life, dude. You talk some smack and you got clapped, like
yeah.
Like
imagine getting into a fist fight and you're like, hold up.
Yeah,
Alt F4.
Alt F4, yep. Straight out the game. Okay. Cool. So there's another really known competitive game out there that has been featured on main television stations. It's been played for millions of dollars all over the world. Some of its top teams earning tens of millions, upwards of $20 million from winning competitions. This game is called League of Legends. That was my segue. I don't actually know jack about this game other than it's so hard. Austin.
And it's full of nothing. the toxicity. But
Oh
that's
yeah.
okay, because you can slash mute all and ignore everybody. It's so easy.
So that's something I can't do in Rocket League, and then I just tilt myself out. But tell us a little bit about what is League of Legends like. As a casual viewer, I don't know what a battle arena. I don't know what all this garbo is. What the heck is
Yeah.
it?
So it's classified as a MOBA, so a multiplayer online battle arena, which I don't think really is very succinct in its description. Uh, so essentially, everything is taken at an isometric viewpoint. Um, you're gonna pick one of, in this case with League of Legends, like 160 something characters, something absurd like that, which is great because who doesn't love variety?
I wouldn't even know where to
But
start.
yeah,
I can't even
that's
pick
the
what
problem.
socks to wear. Oh
That
yeah,
is probably the
6
biggest problem
pairs.
for new players is that there's just too many champions. But like after you play for a few days, you're like, oh, okay, I get most of these. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory. Um, but each one has three major abilities and then an ultimate ability. Sometimes they have multiple abilities, both for ultimates and regular abilities. They're all kind of different in that aspect. But the idea is there's towers and a base on each side, and you're gonna hit minions, hit towers, hit other players, and hopefully not get hit back. Um,
So is
the
it
whole
kind of
goal is
like a domination game mode in like you know Call of Duty or something? Like where your goal is to like take their point, hold that point.
kind of. Yeah, it's sort of like that, except it's not so much about holding it, so much as it is just encroaching into their base and destroying what they call the Nexus, which is this big crystal that's in front of their spawn point.
Right. So you're not continuously trying to get it. You're just trying to get through their defense one time and then make
Correct.
your attack. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And that's pretty much the basics of it. Obviously, if you're not sure what the game really sounds like yet, or you're still not quite getting a good grasp on it, I don't blame you. It's not the easiest thing to immediately describe.
Definitely
Um,
not. Rocket League's
Quick gameplay
easy.
video. Yeah, ball, some cars, a field, a couple nets, easy to figure out. Rocket League's got a little, or not Rocket League. League of Legends has a little bit too much going on for that to be as simple. But yeah, that's kind of the idea. It can be a lot of fun. It can also not be a lot of fun.
I feel like that's most competitive games, dude. I feel like once you learn how to play the game, you stop having fun with it, and you don't have fun with it like while you're trying to learn it. Like I don't know.
Exactly, because everybody at first you get in, everybody will be beating you and better than you, and then you'll get dropped into where you actually belong, and then you go, oh, okay, now it's kind of fun to play again.
Right.
Uh, no, there was really just two major things I wanted to touch on with this.
Mhm.
The first one was that they've been working on a mobile version called Wild Rift, so League of Legends Wild Rift,
Nice.
and they've been kind of giving small hints at it and small pushes in advertising in the last couple months, and so we kind of expected it to pop up sometime soon. And I was going to talk about how I keep seeing all these ads, and it's bound to show up as a proper release here in the next week. And I checked my phone at work today at like 5:30, and I was like, "Oh, it's available now." There goes that talking point.
But no, I mean it's still a
But,
valid talking point. I mean,
but it
so
makes it an even better talking point now because I've actually played it a little bit, and I can tell you how it fares to the actual original PC release.
so do you like it? Is it clean? Like, is it a decent
Yes,
mobile experience? Okay. Okay.
it works a lot better than I thought it would. They kind of figured out how to do the skill shot and like ability targeting, and you can really easily pinpoint champions within waves of minions. You can pick them very clearly and concisely and quickly.
Okay. That's
And
good. So
I
it's
was
not like
really impressed.
Butterfingers trying to press all the touchpad.
No,
Okay.
it's almost as fast paced.
Oh wow, that's kind of
Yeah.
interesting to hear.
The map has been shrunk down. The items are like a season or so behind, so instead of having all the new preseason items or whatever, we have the older items. But there's also some mobile specific items in there. I'm not going to spoil too much about, but if you've ever played any similar games to it, like Mobile Legends or anything like that, they have a similar buy menu because they kind of figured out that works best rather than having a full-on menu like they have on the PC version.
Right, right. I mean, it's a lot easier to menu with QWERTY. Like,
Yes.
um,
Um, I will also say that they don't have quite as many champions in there, and I almost think that's a good thing because I feel
yeah,
like there are
definitely.
definitely some champions that would not work so well in Wild Rift because A, the map is smaller, but B, some of the items aren't there that they probably need, and C, the experience has been explicitly shrunk down for mobile, and it's actually also on console too, which I think is really cool.
That is dope. I
Um,
like that. Big fan of
I
that.
really like that inclusion, a really
Yep.
nice thing,
Yep.
but it is a little bit different because of that. Um, like I know they have a lot of the simple champions like Master Yi, Garen, people like that that are very easy auto attack based champions where all you gotta do is walk at somebody and you can do most of your damage.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
But
Okay.
like they definitely still have skill shot based champions like Ari, so you can actually like have some kind of semblance of ability to the way you're playing if you don't want to completely turn your brain off. The games though they last like 10 to 15 minutes, so it's a
Oh,
nice
that's
little
nice.
bite-sized experience of
Yeah,
the same exact game you're already used to if you're playing it before.
that's nice. That's
And the
nice.
fact that it's free and they give you a nice simple tutorial is go check it out. It's worth it.
Definitely. All right, so we will put the link to that below. So I was gonna save this question for Wednesday. Wednesday is typically when we'll be doing all of our chat based stuff. So we'll be getting your questions from Twitter, the YouTube comments throughout the previous week, and Twitch live when we're streaming it. Um, but I want to bring this up. If you give me just a second here, I've got a. I didn't realize that it wasn't on there. Oops. All right, so I was gonna save this question for Wednesday, but I want to talk about it now because we've talked about Wild Rift. That's a League of Legends mobile game, and we've talked about Sideswipe, which is Rocket League's mobile game. So
A great time for mobile gamers, honestly.
oh, it's a great time for mobile gamers. So I wanted to talk about this. So I fielded some questions to some of my family members. Bear in mind, some of like my two cousins and my uncle are so deep in video games, it's unruly. My mom, however, is a super casual person. She likes Spyro. She played Spyro with me when I was a kid. Uh,
It's
she,
Spyro's great.
she was also so good at Metroid, and that blew my mind on the six or on the SNES. Um,
Okay.
it seems like a game she should be bad at, cause that woman can't sit down and listen to a full album of music. Yet she could just clear through Metroid like it was nobody's business. I never understood it. But she asked me this question. I thought this was a really good question. So this is one of the questions that I went super duper in depth on, and I see right now that we got a little bit of time. So I wanna talk about this one. So Christy Perrine, that's my mom. She asked, "What is the difference between a mobile game and a video game? Is there a difference at all?" So,
Not always.
I wrote a whole thing that a little spiel. I sourced this from many different articles and kind of like mashed a few opinions together.
Sure.
So let me just start by saying this. Functionally, there is no difference between the two. A game is a game. A video game is defined by many things, but generally, we can all agree that the hardware is not that important. I.e., you're playing on a PC or a laptop. You can play on a Super Nintendo. You can play on an Xbox, PlayStation.
Old, old
Either
Magnavox Odyssey
uh,
doesn't matter.
there you go. You could play a RetroPie. You could play a freaking Tamagotchi. It doesn't matter. It's a video game. But where the real difference is actually in the players themselves and how the games are designed around those players. So let me hit you with why. Mobile games are generally classified as time wasters. So it's a game with no real commitment. You can waste 5 to 10 minutes playing it sporadically throughout the day, and this has largely come to define this genre. Video games, as referring to console or PC games, are almost the exact opposite. Now, yes, you will see a trickling in a mix between the two, but by and large, it's almost the opposite. You see, the hype is actually around the commitment. from the $60 price tag that we're willing to pay for rather than a free to play thing, or the promising of new ways to play the game. We talk about Path of Exile and its many updates in throughout its existence, which is just so cool that they keep doing that. I never really got into it, but still,
I agree.
people play these video games, console or PC wise, for the story, the development, the other people that they see playing it. We commit personal time to play this, not idly, but dedicatedly, with understanding where we are at with the game. All in all, fundamentally, not real much of a difference between the games themselves, but it's more of the demographic that's playing it.
And the experience you're looking to get from
Exactly.
Like mobile game, like you said, you're looking to waste time and just kind of throw away a few minutes while you're waiting for your bus, you're waiting for your break to be over, you're waiting for whatever. Whereas the regular video games you're mentioning is kind of something you're going to go home and you're going to spend 2-3 hours to enjoy the story or a unique experience you're not going to get in real life or even in other games.
So I'm really glad that you brought up the time amount. So when I was looking into this, check this out. On average, the most amount of time that people spend playing mobile games, and I mean games that you play on a mobile phone, not like a portable DS or whatever, right? The most amount of time that people spend playing it is an hour. Whereas with most console and PC gamers, the average minimum time that they dedicate to playing that game in a block is an hour. So their height of time playing, of playability, is the bottom for console gaming, PC gaming. And I think that's kind of, that it's very interesting. You know, I understand it though.
Oh yeah.
I definitely have had a few mobile games that I've loved and just like love to waste time on.
Oh yeah.
Thoughts come back to Clash of Clans, of course. That's like a super grindy type of game. I remember this one mobile game that I played. It's still my favorite mobile game I've ever played, and I actually just saw it on the Windows Store, and I was like, I debated getting it. I was like, maybe maybe I'll have more fun playing through it on my PC. It's better FPS. But it's called Reaper. And it was this little side-scrolling action platforming game where you played as a little dude with a sword. You're trying to level yourself up as you went along and save your village. You know, eradicate all the bad guys that were coming in and taking your treasure and stuff. Whatever the heck the plot was, honestly. But it was super cool, and I've definitely found myself in both categories. I don't think, on a whole, I would consider myself a mobile gamer.
It's really funny. Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I'll say it's really funny that you mentioned that whole hour-long block thing because I noticed myself when I'll be sitting here waiting in the morning, getting ready for work. Like 40 minutes to go, and I'd be like, I could get on a game and play, but I only got 40 minutes. And it's like, that sounds stupid. It's 40 minutes, but it's like, it's not enough time I can really dedicate myself to getting into the game.
Absolutely.
So I totally understand that aspect, and it makes a lot of sense to me. People that want to play these kinds of games with these longer experiences, you're going to want to dedicate more time. Because you got to figure your average long-term story investment in games like this is like 60+ hours. So you don't want to sit there for 5-10 minutes at a time playing. You'd never finish.
Yep. So I like this when I speaking on that price tag, right? Because we've now mentioned it 2 times and we talked about for everybody who's kind of unaware, there is a general price point for most games, most what we call AAA titles, and that is $60 generally. Now, in the past few years, of course, we've seen add-ons and DLCs and make the game price infinitely more because players are willing to spend the time there playing the game for hours and hours on end and want the character to look cooler, want the best gear or whatever have you. You want the special event, the rare logo that only, players who played Season 1 have.
I don't support Day 1 DLC. Get out of here. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I don't support Day 1 DLC either.
Garbage. I hate that. But anyway, sorry, continue.
But yeah, so when I was first getting into PC gaming, my roommate helped me build a really crap PC from some of his old parts. But he taught me a really valuable lesson. And he was like, here's what you look for in a game. First and foremost, don't ever buy the game the day it's released. That was smart. Cyberpunk.
I've done it twice, and I only
Cyberpunk.
regretted it once.
Cyberpunk. It's a great game. Great game, though. But the other thing that he told me was you need to equate how much you're going to spend on this game versus how much time you're going to play.
Yep, my favorite thing has always been
$1 per hour, right?
Yes, sir.
$1 per hour, baby! That's right. That's right. And that's exactly it. So when I look at a game and I go, let's take Rocket League, right? Like, because I think you and I both bought Rocket League full price, right? Back in the day, 25
Yes,
bucks,
sir.
whatever it was. Right. So 25 bucks. I looked at it. I said, do I think I can get 25 hours of playtime out of this game?
Or of enjoyment. It doesn't even necessarily have to be playtime.
Sure. No. It doesn't even have to be playtime. You can play for longer, play for less, whatever. But
as long as you're enjoying the time you spent.
Exactly. And just as a rough estimation, you want to look for $1 per hour. So a lot of these big new games with their new campaigns, but then also you add multiplayer and stuff like that, oftentimes, man, I'm getting way more than that. I'm spending 25 cents an hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or less. In Rocket League's case, I have 1,200 hours just on this one account on this PC. I also played on another PC on my old friend's laptop, and I also played on a PlayStation while I was incommunicado from everybody else. So yeah, I have lots of hours in this game. Definitely worth the $20 price tag.
Even at my 380 hours, it was well worth the $25 price tag.
God, yeah, right? Absolutely.
Counter-Strike, 1,750 hours.
Yep.
I paid, what, 20 bucks
20
for
bucks
that
for
game?
it. Yeah.
Easy every time.
Absolutely.
Cyberpunk, dropped 60 bucks, and I played 82 hours, and I'm going to play more when the next DLC stuff comes out. Worth my money.
Totally worth the money. I just spent $12 on Assassin's Creed Origins on Friday, and I have definitely put more than 12 hours in it over this weekend.
For sure, yeah. But like, if my account has a game that I bought and that I don't have that many hours put into it, it's either because I really didn't like the game or I got it in a bundle and just didn't ever probably play it.
Sure. I have a couple games like that where we tried to get a game with our friend and we just never went back to the game, or like we went back. That's a direct reference to Austin, by the way. Like literally, it's a jab at him.
Apologizing live.
It's a fun game. We'll have to do that on stream though, and see if other people in the chat can figure that mess out, because that game just breaks my brain, dude.
You're not allowed to assassinate my character live in the first episode.
Dude, what do you mean? This is quick chat. This is what we do. People, this is how gamers get along. These are the relationships we form. Like, they are real. Like, it's just so true. But yeah, so we're gonna. I got some little closing notes here. A couple things to talk about. So as far as games activities, we've seen Rocket League. We go back to this just because everybody who's going to be on this podcast, all the members of this podcast, actually all play quite a bit of Rocket League. Like I said, it's a super easy stream game. It's a super easy game to follow.
Crazy easy to pick up and play.
Crazy easy to pick up and play.
You have no excuse.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's free on Epic. So go and cop that. Come get in our chat. We'll send you an invite to the party. You can come and play against us or play with us or beat us or whatever you want to do.
Come
really.
hang out, honestly.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Come hang out. I'm just drinking coffee all night, getting hyphy. So that's how I roll. On the Rocket League note, so this was interesting. I wrote this down just because I was a little confused by it. So the Rocket League players on Steam, there is a chart where you can see how much people are spending on average. If more players are playing, if less players are playing. So its players playing on Steam is down 5.2% over the last 30 days. It's down. It's trending downward. I don't know what the whole deal is, why it's trending downward. But then you look at it on Twitch, and the views, how many people are watching it, so not playing it, but watching other people play it, is up 29%. 29% over the last 7 days. That's wild to me. I
feel
can't.
like it's probably because it's one of those games where it is more fun to watch somebody who really knows what they're doing than it is to play if you really don't.
100%. I play Rocket League maybe 2 hours, 3 hours a week now, no lie. I watch it like 3 or 4 hours a day. If anything, I usually have it going like on my phone that's always next to me. I usually just have like a Rocket League Championship Series open in the background. I like it. It's nice. It's just background noise and people talking about stuff. Um, but yeah, so you have anything else that you wanted to kind of talk about? You got anything that you want to say to casual gamers, to people who are just coming into this industry? Like, you got anything you want to tell them?
Play what you enjoy playing, and it doesn't matter if somebody else tells you you shouldn't. I don't know. It's just kind of really basic stuff. Just enjoy what you do.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I touched on this in the beginning, and so I think I will probably close with these, and I'll get your thoughts on the whole matter afterward. So with COVID, we saw so many people moving to Twitch for the first time, watching live streamers, and I think that a big part of that is that we're dying for some connectivity. We really want to like talk to each other again and see each other again, and it's been God, man, what, like a year and a half now? Some crazy garbage, man. But
more than that, I think.
Yeah, jeez, man. So we saw a lot of people move into Twitch, whether they were streaming their home life, streaming cooking, just chatting, right, whatever, trying to, connect with people. But we've also seen huge spikes in people coming to Twitch to watch people. And that's really cool. Any exposure is good exposure, in my opinion.
Yes, sir.
I'm a little concerned for the future of Twitch and of streaming. And here's why is I don't think that overall it'll hit rock bottom or anything. I don't think it's even possible at this point because too many people have made that an everyday part of their life now. But I do think that the second that the bar opens up and you can go hit up your homies and hang out at the bar again, or the movie theater opens up and you can go watch movies again, I think that we're gonna see a huge decrease in the numbers on Twitch, at least for the first month, until everybody remembers that, like, oh yeah, I hate people, and the kind of magic of it all coming back wears off. What do you think, though?
So really, I'm not entirely sure.
I mean, neither am I. It's just a guess. It's just.
I straight up don't have a better answer.
Hey, man, no, that's fine. That's fine. But that's real. That's how you feel about the subject.
Really, all I'm hoping is that we'll just continue to see more people gain interest, and it'll be less and less and less of a weird or taboo subject to talk about.
Yeah. Yep. I totally agree. I think that 2020 and 2021 are kind of ushering in a
digital entertainment era.
Not even that. Like, yes, you're
new one, I guess.
You're definitely correct. But I was gonna say, on the topic of you talking about taboo, we've become a little more open to talking about things that were like, keep it quiet back in the day. You know what I mean? Like, I never talk about my depression and my anxiety or my ADHD growing up because it was just a no-no. You know what I mean? I didn't talk to my family about like what video games I played because like, oh, blah blah blah, rot your brain or something else. It's musical rot your brain or something else. I don't know. But yeah, like I think we're kind of seeing this like, I love. Okay, so internet anonymity, right, has always been a thing, but now I think we're actually starting to use it for good a little bit. Because you have people doing these just chattings and talking about it, and pros like Lethamir getting on podcasts and talking about mental health and streaming and YouTube and stuff. And, like, you can talk to them about it without exposing yourself. And they don't actually expose themselves to everybody in their line of sight. And then all they see in the chat is overwhelming positivity because you feel the same way and you're like, yo, man, thank you for that. Like, you know, whatever have you. I really think that it's ushering in a whole new way of communicating about this type of stuff. And I think that's super important, man. Super important. Like,
yeah, because it's been swept under the rug for so many decades.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's just,
absolutely.
It's bad.
Yeah, from different classifications of health and all that. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
I think that's kind of a good thing. But yeah, so where will streaming go? When will it stop? Nobody knows. But that's kind of the beauty of it. So closing remarks, I just want to say thank you if you watched this video all the way to the end. We love and appreciate you, man. You're glad to be part of this community. Glad to help out you. If you're new to the community, welcome, man. We're not pros by any means, man. We're trying to learn too, trying to find our niche in it all as well. So you know.
Speaking of pros, my last closing remark.
Oh yeah, you were gonna flame that, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Fnatic. Somebody should probably tell Selfmade that he should never play Volibear ever again. That's all I gotta say.
And with that, we are out. But yeah, thank you so much, guys.
We appreciate you.
Absolutely. And you know what's crazy? I don't actually think we need to edit anything. We didn't have large breaks of time or pauses or anything down.
No, sir. I kind of nailed it.
Once I get my screen set up on my right, then I'll stop looking at my screen. It'll be set up where my camera. Matter of fact, I should probably just put my camera over there and avoid that next time. But hey, man, we're learning. This is a new thing. So thanks for stopping by. Hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up on Twitch. We will be streaming. I want us to start streaming these. This would be easier.
Oh yeah. It'd be a lot better, I think, too. People would be more into it and more more interaction.
Absolutely.
Hopefully.
Absolutely. I mean, eventually. You know what I mean? Hey, even if it's the one guy who consistently shows up in my chat. Hey, I appreciate you, dude. I don't know why you watch every video, but you're cool ass, man.
We love having you around.
Absolutely, dude. Next time, say something in the chat and actually come play, dude. You don't have to lurk. But hey, if that's your thing, that's your thing. And you know, human to human, man. Love you, respect you all. I think that's it for us, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody out there, stay safe and have a great whatever time it is for you.
Awesome. Peace out, guys.